YouTube, I'm coming to get you.
Covenant, you're calling Raven.
Payback time.
Come on! Come with me if you want to live.
You just don't turn it off!
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason. You're watching Backtrack Cinema, and welcome to my top 50 moments of the Rambo franchise. And hit that subscribe button if you like this kind of content. Slap a like on the video as it helps the channel out a lot. So this will be the final video discussing Rambo in lots of detail, guys. I've been wanting to do this for a long time now. We went through all the Rambo reviews. We did the ranking. And I always like to do a big moments video on the big franchises I like. So we're going to be doing 50 moments, my personal top 50 moments of the franchise. And it was a tough list to put together. So let me know in the comments what your favorite moments are in this franchise and all that. We'll have a great discussion in those comments as always. So without further ado, let's get into this ranking. So coming at number 49 is Trautman and Teasle having a drink at the bar.
Well, I wanted to kill him so bad I could taste it.
Doesn't sit well with that badge.
This is where Rambo has presumably been killed. This is where the sheriff Teasle has let things sit for a bit, and he goes to apologize to Trautman. It is him essentially admitting to Trautman that he's more about the quest for revenge than he was upholding the law. And he's had a chance to stand back and look at himself and everything like that. But when he finds out Rambo's alive, it all comes flooding back, and he just wants to kill him, and he wants to do it his way and all that kind of stuff. But I just really like the conversation that happens. The atmosphere in the bar is great. How they're just going back and forth, you know what I mean?
Who are you?
The worst nightmare. You may scream. There is no shame.
Look at me. You're gonna take me to that club.
Coming in at number 44 is the boat ride between Coe and Rambo in Rambo 2.
It's too much death here. Death everywhere. Just want to live, Rambo.
Where they're getting a boat ride from the pirates. You know, they're ready to go into the POW camp and everything. They have this nice conversation about how they both became soldiers and what's Rambo's motives for doing all this and what's Coe's motives for doing all this. And this is where you really get a connection between them. And it's the only kind of character development we get between them. So I do like this piece of dialogue that happens, and you got Coe, who wants to get out of this life completely, wants to go to America and live a quiet life, and Rambo, you know, he just wants to win, he wants to survive, and Coe is trying to, and I think in this moment that he really is inspired, or he's moved by Coe in a way that this is someone who's seen war too, learned it from her father, but she just wants to settle down. She just wants this quiet life. She's had enough of it. And I do think where Rambo is at the beginning of Rambo 3 is because of Coe and all that kind of stuff, where he just doesn't want the fight no more. You know what I mean? So it was just a nice moment between them. Coming at number 42 is where Rambo confronts Gabriel's father in Last Blood. This is where he's gone looking for her. He shows up at his apartment or whatever, and I just find Rambo has a real intimidating presence here.
I should have broke your fucking neck 10 years ago.
It just the fear Stallone emotes into people in this movie is incredible, and really this is what really works for this scene for me. I just love how intimidating Stallone is. Coming at number 41 is the boatman scene in Rambo 4, or John Rambo, if you will. This is where Rambo's taking the mercenaries all into the village here, and they don't know who Rambo really is. They just think he's the boatman.
You can drop the 1,000-yard stare. I've seen it all before, and I'm not impressed.
I just like the conversations between all of them, how you get to know how what each character is, their characterization to a certain degree. And the leader there, I think he's awesome. His name mistakes me right now. He doesn't really know who Rambo is, right? And he thinks he's just a boatman. He's the guy who just runs the boat. He's just talking, I could swim faster than this. He's getting impatient. He's getting anxious. And he's just like, talking all shit and everything like, oh, I'm this fucking great soldier and everything like that. They send in the devil, when they want to get things done. And when him and Rambo just have that 100-yard stare, and I just like how he's just like, you can drop the 100-yard stare. I've seen it all before, mate. And I'm not impressed. I just like, he's great. This character, I thought he was absolutely terrific in it. But it's just they did a lot of character building in this one scene. Coming at number 40 is from Rambo 3, where Rambo heals himself. This is where he gets a gigantic stick in his side, and he pulls it out, and he's got a big hole in him, and he lights it on fire. You know what I mean? He puts gunpowder inside the bullet hole. It combusts, and it just heals him instantly. You know what I mean? I just always, as a kid, I just loved that. It was just so graphic and visceral and violent, and you just felt the pain. Stallone just really sells all the pain here, but as kids, man, we were just like, oh, is he actually going to do that? Put gunpowder in him and all that kind of stuff. And it just cauterizes his wound. Cauterizes the bullet hole. It's just awesome. I've always just loved that moment. Coming in at number 39 is where Rambo breaks the guy's collarbone in Last Blood. This is just Rambo being absolutely brutal, wanting answers. He finds some pimp at this club, and he takes him out, and he's at his vehicle, stabs him in the leg, goes right into his freaking bones, breaking his bones. Rambo knows exactly where to hurt you. The guy's trained in medical. He's a fully trained soldier, right? So when he hits you with a knife, he knows where he's putting it. And the bones he's breaking, I mean, the man gets answers, and it's just the brutality, the viciousness of it. I'm like, damn, Rambo, you're going dark, man. It's awesome. Coming in at number 38 is the rocking chair monologue in Last Blood.
All the ones I've loved are now ghosts. But I will fight.
This is where Rambo has gotten all of his revenge. He's severely injured. He just sits in the rocking chair, and there's this monologue that's voiced over with Stallone's old grizzled voice that sounds great. It's just another monologue where he's just talking about what he's seen as a soldier, who he is as a soldier, and when someone's in trouble, I will fight, I will be there. Again, it's just this full circle thing where he completely accepts what he is and what he has to do. And I just think it's a nice little monologue to end the movie. I still don't think it's the greatest ending because of how they left in Rambo 4. I love that ending where he walks home and everything like that, but I still like this little monologue. Coming at number 37 is Rambo gearing up in Rambo 2. I've always liked this. I mean, maybe it's the macho man in me. Maybe it's the masculinity I just like. I don't know, but when he's sharpening his knife and the camera's moving down his arm, it's that music, dun, dun, dun. You know what I mean? And you see the fine hairs on him, and he's tying his boots up, getting his shit all together. It's very reminiscent of Commando, where Arnold's getting ready on the beach. I don't know. It's something about getting all geared up, ready to go to war. It's just awesome. I used to mimic this scene when I was a kid. I'd sit there, I'd put my knife in, and I would slowly get all my arrows ready and play Rambo in the woods and everything like that. You can call it toxic masculinity. I think it's awesome masculinity.
You can't defeat a people like that. We tried. We already had our Vietnam. Now you're gonna have yours.
Survivor of countless incursions behind enemy lines. Kill for vagrancy in Jerkwater, USA.
You know there's more men out there. You know where they are. Find them, or I'll find you.
Coming in at number 32, I'm going to call the horse game, like the football horse game they're playing in Rambo 3. I forget what the sport is called, where he's playing it with the Afghanistan people. I just like how he's trying to get to know them. He gets involved in their community, their fight and everything like that. And they're playing this kind of football game kind of on horses. And as we know, Rambo knows a lot about horses, right? from on the farm and everything. He grew up like knowing horses and everything. And I like how they rough him up a bit at first, and it's also a prelude to the attack on their home and everything like that. But just how the camaraderie they show, it's a little something different, a little break in the movie where you get some action to build the characters too, to build Rambo and how he's getting involved in this community and how they're growing really attached to him and everything like that. So just a nice little moment.
And one more thing. What you choose to call hell, he calls home.
Fuck you.
Coming at number 28 is Gabrielle's death. Now, I really like in Last Blood where they pushed the boundaries and they had balls enough to kill her to set Rambo off. And Stallone's just this really good performance here when he's trying to keep her awake. My wife made a good point though, is like, why didn't he just take her to the hospital like right away? But that's besides the point. But the way she's in and out, and he's trying to get her to talk and everything, and you got so much life ahead of you and all that kind of stuff. And this has to deal with too with Rambo, he can't save everybody. This is the one person he wanted to save, and he said, why couldn't it have been me? And it really sets him up. But this the performance where he's just like bawling, like holding her, and he's just like, I'm so sorry, and stuff like that. It's just shows that humanity of this character. This character's always had moments of breaking down, and always showed his piece of humanity in him, right? And he's finally gotten this family, and it gets ripped apart from him again. So it's just a real tender moment it does pull on your heartstrings. It really does. Coming at number 27 is the flood scene. You can watch it on the Amazon Prime cut. I think the British got it, the Americans got it, but the Canadians didn't get this. So my good buddy Gareth from Video Tasty sent me a rip of the movie here with this scene in it. Oh, glorious. And I already had my top 50 moments made up. Well, once he sent me this, I kind of had to fit this in here somehow. It was a great reintroduction to the character where Rambo's on horseback at his raincoat, and there's a massive flood in the area coming down from the mountains. And it's all set up to show that Rambo can't save everyone. He saves one person, but another girl dies, and the stupid husband ignores Rambo and goes after his wife who's already dead, so he couldn't save him. And then when it's all said and done, Rambo's like this volunteer for safe and rescue and stuff like that. So he's just going to show again he can't save everybody. And when he goes back home and he talks to the maid, Gabrielle's grandmother there, it explains a lot more of like who she is and that she took care of Rambo's father and everything like that. And he said, you two are a lot alike and all that. He says, John, you're not. You can't save everybody, because he's just like, I couldn't save my friends in Vietnam, and I couldn't save these people. And she kind of reiterates like the war is over, but the war inside him is not, and maybe never will be. And I just thought this is a great reintroduction to the character, and just beautifully shot scene, cinematography, just amazing in this. I wish they would have kept this in. This was the true intro to Last Blood, man, for sure. Coming at number 26 is where Rambo buries Ko after she dies. You get that quick cut of him getting ready, putting her belt on, the red from her red robe and everything like that, putting his knife on, takes her necklace, the good luck charm, and then his hands are on the mud, it's raining, creates atmosphere and everything like that. And then he gets up with his bow, and the camera, that close-up of the look on his eyes, like, holy shit, he ain't maiming people here. He is going to destroy people. He's going to take people out, man, for what happened to Ko. And him fighting against the system again, saying, you know what? Screw the system. He's going to save every POW. He's going to kill everybody in his path to get his mission completed. And I just love it. Coming at number 25 is from Rambo 4, and that's the end where Rambo walks home. I just really like how it all comes full circle. Rambo just went through hell in this in Burma, saving everybody, chopping everyone up to meat and everything like that. And you see him coming back home, just looking around. It's really peaceful. There's the Rambo farm, and he walks down. And first blood, he's walking towards us. Now he's walking away from us, symbolizing, guys, this is the end. This was supposed to be the end of Rambo, all finished. I know Last Blood opens up a whole new can of worms, but really, this is the end right here. And I just love how they tell that story. Coming at number 24 is a cool little scene where Rambo gets arrested, and it's where Mitch tries to grab his dog tags because he won't say who his name is.
Hey, you got 3 seconds before I break your face in.
He means it.
Yeah, I do.
There's an incredible amount of tension in this scene, and I just don't think it's looked upon enough. And when they go to grab Rambo's dog tags and he stops them, I was just thinking about this scene a lot because I'm like, well, what does a dog tag mean to a soldier? And I did some looking up here and there, and it's a very, very personal thing. Like when a soldier, I'm assuming when they give you somebody their dog tags, like when they actually give them to somebody, it's somebody they would completely trust. A very honorable thing to accept somebody's dog tags and all that. If you've ever been in the military, done service, if I'm getting this whole scene wrong, let me know in the comments below, because I don't want to screw up any kind of what someone's tags really mean. But to me, when they go to grab his tags, he just stops and goes, "What the hell are you doing? It defines who I am. I'm a soldier. These are my tags. This is who I am, and you don't take my frickin' tags." So obviously it was something very, very personal, and the way they ripped them off, like they're just nothing, right? You know what I mean? So I just really like that, and there's a really the tension's building here and building with each scene here. Coming at number 23 is the attack on the village in Rambo 4. I think this is where Stallone's directing his ass off here. It's very Saving Private Ryan like, if you will. I won't say it is as good, but Brian Tyler's score just really carries this scene here where they're, it starts off very peaceful. All the Christian aid workers, they're in there giving Bibles, healing the sick. They've done this probably, 10 or 20 times maybe. They've done the trip before. Then all of a sudden they get attacked. And now you're feeling what real war is and genocide. And you see a lot of horrific stuff in here. And then it goes into slow-mo. Music's carrying everything. It's pulling out the dramatics and everything like that. It's just amazing scene, but a hard to watch scene. There's some horrific stuff in here for sure.
You think somebody's going to get up on the floor of the United States Senate and ask for billions of dollars for a couple of forgotten ghosts?
Men, goddammit! Men who fought for the country. That's enough!
And every other guy who came over here has spilled his guts and gave everything he had once.
Murdoch. I'm coming to get you.
Coming at number 18 is the boat shootout in Rambo 4. So this is where they're stopped in the middle of the night by the pirates, and they come over while Rambo's trying to take the Christian aid workers to Burma and everything like that. And man, Rambo's telling them, get down now. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of tension. It gets really serious. And there's that one moment I absolutely love where Rambo realizes he can't talk his way out of this. And then he looks at where all their guns are. This is so awesome, man. And then he just pulls his firearm out, takes them all out within 5 seconds maybe. And then there's that one guy who comes up and says, he came here to stop the killing. And Rambo like grabs him by the throat and he's telling them, you know what, they would have cut all your heads off and they would have raped her 50 times. You know what I mean? It's like Rambo's saying, you don't know what you're getting into. You don't know what it's like over there. This is war, man. This is like killing. This is the darkest of the darkest souls you will meet. You know what I mean? And they still decide to go over there, which is Very noble, man, after just what happened. I just love how Rambo's training comes through here, and also just how of a natural soldier he is. Makes the decision just like that. I'm going to kill every one of them, and it's fractions of a second. Finds out where their weapons are. He's looking down at all of them, almost like an old gunfight in the Old West. You know what I mean? This fantastic scene. Coming at number 17 is Rambo walks back into town. First of all, this scene is very iconic. You know, where Rambo walks back across the bridge and everything. It's a landmark for Rambo fans, man. It's just really awesome. But as soon as Rambo gets into town, he's already being pushed by the sheriff, and the sheriff won't let him eat in this town. He's saying there's a diner 20 miles up the highway. And then when he drops Rambo off, Rambo walks immediately back. Just starts creating a lot of tension. And the moment I really like is where Brian Dennehy's stopping him. He goes, okay, you're under arrest, and everything like that. And there's the moment he goes, you get your hands on the car. And as soon as Brian Dennehy's hand puts on the gun, Rambo looks down and then looks right back up at him without kind of flinching. I mean, Stallone just has a stare. He could just stare at you with these eyes that, man, it's just that could scare the life out of you. But I mean, Brian Dennehy, Sheriff Teasle, very intimidating character too. I just really like the tension it's building, you know, through this scene. And then where he says, what are you carrying a knife like this for? And he's like, hunting. What do you hunt with a knife? Name it, man. Oh, man, I love that scene. Coming at number 16 is Covey Leader to Raven from First Blood.
Covey Leader to identify Baker T. Rambo, Mesner, Ortega, Coletta, Jorgensen, Danforth, Barry, Krakauer. Confirmed.
This is a great conversation that happens between Colonel Trautman and Rambo, where he wants Rambo to come in. He doesn't want no more death. He doesn't. This looks really bad on the army, probably. Rambo's like, no, they drew first blood, not me. I can't come in and all that. And for a moment, when Rambo wakes up, he doesn't. He still thinks he's in Vietnam. He's like, wait, he hears Trautman's voice, and it's like back in the war, right? And then he looks at the walkie-talkie, and he realizes. At first, he doesn't want to talk to Trautman, but then he does, right? They have this great conversation. But there's just something about the atmosphere here. Trautman going through all the names of the soldiers that he commanded for this special unit team in Vietnam. And I don't know why I love it so much. Honestly, it just gives you that real insight to these two and how these weren't just names he was naming off. These were all Rambo's friends and stuff like that. And there's always been something about it. And I'll give a big shout out to Peter Anthony for his film Roseblood, where he actually inserts this. He pays a little homage to this in his movie, you know, where there's a soldier outside and they're playing a game on him going, Covey Leader Raven, come in, Raven. Are you there? But it's a great scene, man. Coming in at number 15 is the cliff jump in First Blood. This is where they got Rambo trapped. And when he climbs down on the cliff, he has nowhere to go, and then he jumps. You know what I mean? It's and then falls and really hurts himself. And this is where he takes out Galt from the helicopter. Just this whole sequence. The way the chopper's coming in, Rambo's behind the tree after he falls, and they're shooting at him, and the camera's going back and forth like this. It's intense. This scene when I was a kid, and every time I watch it, it's just thrilling. You're on your edge of your seat during this. Like when Rambo starts slipping on the cliff, and then, you know, and he's yelling, and he stops. He's just hanging there. Clearly, you know, everything's safe. You know, Stallone's probably just hanging off a ledge. He's probably just standing on a ledge. You know what I mean? But he sells it, man. He sells it. Nowhere to go. And the way he comes down on that cliff, and I'm terrified of heights. So this scene always gets me. Coming at number 14 is when Teasle chases down Rambo. Rambo's on the dirt bike. This is after he breaks out, and Teasle's in the cop car. This is still one of the greatest chase scenes I've seen. I just love the atmosphere, for one thing, where it's raining, it's slick. The stunt work in this, all the stuntmen who participated in this, you know, bravo, man. Bravo, because this was just amazing. The way the dirt bike's doing pops of wheelies, doing jumps, and just the territory they're in. They're on the road, then they're in fields. They're on those boulders, and that's where Brian Dennehy, runs on a road kind of thing and turns his car over. But just is such a cool chase scene here, man. I just absolutely love it. I really hate saying this a lot, saying they don't make them like this anymore, but they don't. I mean, you could just feel everything, the jumps and everything. You see parts coming off the car when he's making a jump, real smoke on the tires, the wetness, the mud picking up, you know what I mean? They CGI a lot of that shit now. That you just don't get that really down and gritty feel of the car chase, you know what I mean? I just love this chase scene. Coming at number 13 is where Rambo rescues all the POWs in Rambo 2. This is where he gets the chopper and he's blowing the shit out of this little camp, rescues everyone. It's really that where Rambo has become now, this iconic stature of the hero. Rambo 2 really hits a peak in the sense of going into the movies and watching a hero and seeing the hero doing what the hero does. You know what I mean? And the way when he rescues all these POWs, I love it because it's like you're back in the war. You know what I mean? When he blows the cage open and he's got them all and he's like, "Come on, you can do it, let's go." And then he's trying to fight all these people off while he's doing it. There's an iconic shot of him with the gun. He's all jacked up and shirtless and all that stuff. I just love the imagery of everything. The one man rescuing all these POWs. You remember the first movie, right? At the end where someone wouldn't let us win. Well, this time he's winning, right? As much as he can in this moment anyway, he's winning. He's getting them on the chopper and all that jazz. It's just a great scene. Coming at number 12 is Rambo's rescue attempt of Trautman in Rambo 3. I love this action sequence. This is actually one of my favorite action sequences in the franchise. Clearly, if it's at number 12. Like, if you were to ask me my top 50, I guess, action scenes of all time, this may be one of them, right? Just love this, where he doesn't get Trautman out, but it's an attempt that goes wrong. But it's tension building where he's picking out he's got the knife, picking out the mines in the minefield. And when he gets in the fortress, he's quiet as hell. Where's the American? Where's the American? When that little boy comes around and then they get spotted and it starts off where he throws the knife at the guy's throat. But it's just when Rambo's telling them, "Go, get out of here." Then you hear Trautman going, "John, get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here." You know what I mean? It's like war, man. just freaking war. And it's a lot of tension in this. I feel like the action was a lot more tense here in this movie than it was in Rambo 2. And I love this action sequences. You get Rambo blowing up shit. You just get Rambo like an animal again, fighting his way out of this fortress. I mean, the jailbreak in First Blood, you remember when he was down there all by himself and he gets out of that situation? The way he gets out of this situation is incredible. And it's just everything you would want in an action sequence is in this maybe 5 to 10 minute part sequence. Amazing, man. Coming at number 11 is Don't Push It from First Blood.
Don't push it. Don't push it. I'll give you a war you won't believe. Let it go.
This is where Rambo has taken all the officers out in First Blood and only Teasle's left. He comes out of nowhere. He's got that blade against his throat. You get surprised like that, the way Rambo comes out of nowhere and you got a blade against your throat. You're pissing yourself, man. Anyway, it's like, don't push it. I'll give you a war you won't believe. Let this go. When he takes the knife off and disappears, Teasle, the big, intimidating guy, commanding guy, just breaks down. He breaks down in his own little way where he's just like, what have I done, man? Like in that moment, I think he's realizing, like, what have I done? What have I aggravated here? You know what I mean? Two guys who just won't step back. But man, I love the line. It's iconic. You don't push it. I'll give you a war you won't believe. Could have killed them all. I could have killed you. He's showing too, I could kill you at any time I want. Man, doesn't get better than that, guys. All right, guys, we're at our top 10 moments now. This is the best of the best as far as I'm concerned. And coming in at number 10 is the statue speech Trautman gives in Rambo 3.
We didn't make you this fighting machine. We just chipped away the rough edges.
I love the way this movie is set up story-wise, where Rambo's had enough of the war. He's really on a soul-searching path now, trying to fit in somewhere, and Trautman's trying to tell him, with us is where you fit in. You're a full combat soldier. And he tells this story about this statue where this kid finds this statue. He cleans it out and chips away at it until it's a sculpture. Parable of the story, he's like, well, the statue was always there. I just chipped away all the rough edges. Then Trautman saying, the soldier was always in you. You're a natural born soldier. We just chipped away the rough edges. And it's just such a great analogy. It's such a great parable that Trautman is trying to tell him, you know, that you're always going to be eating away at yourself until you come full circle, until you accept what you are, until you accept who you are. Very Ernest Hemingway, like, you know what I mean? You got to accept who you are. You can't run from who you are. Once you accept for who you are and what you are, that's just it, man. That's what it's all about. But great moment. Coming at number 9 is the end battle sequence in Last Blood. This is where Rambo draws them all into his home. He's got the whole place trapped, the caves all trapped, and it's just mayhem and carnage, man. Rambo just taking out the fucking trash. Just awesome, man. Just what a sequence, man. I mean, it's violent, it's brutal. This is the kind of element that we like Rambo in. I like when he sets traps up, and I like when he takes people out in traps. And we don't give a fuck about these people he's killing, man. These are the scums of the earth villains. And I just find it just awesome. It's just an awesome last third act of this movie. Coming at number 8 is the end battle in Rambo 4. This is where, you know, Rambo cuts the guy's head off, takes hold of the 50 cal gun, starts cutting everyone in half. Then everyone starts getting into it. You know what I mean? All the mercenaries are getting into it. And then even the Christian aid workers are getting into it. And that's kind of like this running theme, is that when you're pushed, when it's either, when you have to survive, killing's as easy as breathing. And so the guy who told Rambo earlier, like, we came here to stop the killing, it's a Burmese soldier or him, and he plants a rock right in the guy's face and starts killing him. And it's just that overall theme that I really like, and how the way it's executed here, and seeing, you know, Craig McTavish again, his legs already blown off, and he's freaking like just taking people out here, headbutting people, just surviving. Just Rambo being a badass, you know what I mean? It's just bloody gruesomeness, man. It's just awesome. Rambo just tearing shit up. And that's what we come to a Rambo film for sure. Coming at number 7 is the great stick fight in Rambo 3. Man, I love this stick fight so much. I love this fight. I love how we don't really see Rambo yet. We're just kind of seeing him get ready, putting his necklace on. And he is jacked here, man. His back muscles. I read Stallone's book once, and they had to tie him down doing lat pull downs to get his back like this. That's how much he was lifting. But it's a great moment. It shows Rambo fighting for money, and then he just gives the money away. Really, Trautman knows what's going on. He needs the fight. He's a soldier, right? He has to fight. It's in his blood. And you see him kind of like not embracing the fight at first. He's kind of just losing, almost like he's just going in half-ass almost, right? Then that killer instinct shows up in the middle of the fight. It all turns around, and he just starts kicking ass. You know, that natural soldier comes through. It's a bloody awesome fight, man. I absolutely love it. I like the way it's shot and everything. It's very in your face and gritty and real. You know what I mean? You see the slow-mo of the crowd and everything cheering on and everything like that. And that end moment where Rambo's like gonna kill the guy, it looks like, the look of Rambo's eyes and everything. And then, you know, he kind of like, he just lets that go, and he offers the guy his hand. You know what I mean? It's like two warriors going at it, and just, you know, so kind of an honor code there at the end where he just nods to him. Good fight kind of thing, you know what I mean? But man, when I first saw this fight, oh, Rambo heaven, man. Rambo heaven. Coming in at number 6 from Rambo 4 is when Rambo rips the guy's throat out. I love this scene. This is where he saves Sarah. You know, Sarah's ready to get raped. There's nothing she can do about it. Rambo comes out of nowhere, picks this guy up, squeezes his throat, rips the guy's throat out, man. It's just bloody gruesome. It's visceral. Let me tell you something. If there's a man who's ready to do a violent act on a woman, a lady like that, this is what they deserve. Man, sometimes you live vicariously through our heroes and our characters. Of course, I'm not gonna go out there and rip a guy's throat out. I wouldn't even know how to do that. But man, we've seen Rambo do it. It's bloody well awesome, man. I absolutely love this scene. And I often wonder in First Blood in the jailbreak scene, when he's got his hand on Galt. Do you remember that? And he's squeezing his face. If that's what he was doing, when he was going for his throat, going down through his throat. That could have been bad, man. But yeah, this was a great moment. Coming at number 5 is Rambo in the Mud and Rambo 2. Love this moment. I still love this moment. This is one of my favorite moments, obviously, in the Rambo franchise. When they're kind of redoing that scene, the 4 scene from First Blood, and Rambo goes after, except for this time, Rambo's killing everyone. Killing all these Russian soldiers. Except for this time, Rambo's not playing. He's out to kill. And when the guy's just looking for Rambo and Rambo's in the mud there, and then the rack focus comes up, and then when it focuses on Rambo's eye, then he comes out of nowhere and stabs the guy. Oh, man, that was just awesome, hiding in the mud like that. I think I even tried to do it as a kid with my Rambo knife. Says, yeah, hide me in the mud. You know what I mean? But it's the scene too where I literally fell in love with my wife when we were dating. We were talking about movies on a date and stuff like that. I said, well, I'm a big Rambo fan. And she goes, I love it when he's hiding in the mud. I went, oh my God, marry me. You know what I mean? This scene, when my wife explained this scene, I literally fell in love with her. I'm not going to lie, man. Oh man, such a great scene. All right, so our top 4 moments of the Rambo franchise are all coming from First Blood. And that's just such a testament of how good First Blood really is. So coming at number 4 is the forest hunt in First Blood.
Somebody help me! Help me, Will!
So this is where Dave drew First Blood and Rambo's pissed now. And now he's gone into soldier mode. And I just love the atmosphere that this whole scene creates. It's dark as hell. It's rainy. He's just playing with them here. Brian Dennehy does his best job. Let's form a scrimmage line. Let's try and flush him out kind of thing. But man, he's camouflaged. They don't know where he is. He sets up booby traps. It's almost got a real horror element to it with the scarecrow and the lightning and all that kind of stuff. It's just an amazing scene when he takes Mitch out, then he jumps off the tree and breaks the guy's shoulder. The guy runs into those spikes and he just creates chaos. And he disorientates everybody here. And I just love how you hear the natural elements of the woods and the wind and the rain. There's not really a lot of music. I don't think so anyway. I don't think there's a lot of music to it. There's some, I think. But I feel like you're hearing a lot of the natural elements and creating that atmosphere too. That's just perfect. Just love this scene. Coming at number 3 is Rambo's breakdown at the end of First Blood. This is one of the great pieces of acting Sylvester Stallone has done in his career. I think he's one of the best criers. He always does crying scenes really, really well. And, this where he goes from anger and then implodes. It's just beautiful. I've talked about this scene many, many times, obviously in the reviews, whenever I talk about First Blood. And, he doesn't say much through this whole movie. That all comes out of him at the end here. And even Trautman is surprised that he breaks down. And then I just like their connection goes from colonel to soldier to father and son kind of thing. And he tells this story about the shoe shine box. And this gives you that imagery, man, look what this guy's gone through. This guy's gone through hell. This is a man suffering from PTSD, man. This is a guy in pain who needs just to let it out, and he lets it out, and then they do that long walk, and then the credits roll and all that. What a way to end a movie, man. The movie really is this character study about a man who's just been through too much, implodes, cries it out at the end, giving this is an action icon who became an action icon. He's our hero, and to see him cry like that, this shows that humanity. And I like how other movies did that later, like Martin Riggs' Lethal Weapon. showed a lot of humanity. John McClane in Die Hard started showing a lot of humanity. So First Blood was definitely this real big game changer. Coming at number 2 is Trautman's speech in First Blood. This is where Trautman shows up. And he's like, God didn't make Rambo. I made him.
In Vietnam, his job was to dispose of enemy personnel. To kill. Period. Win by attrition. Well, Rambo was the best.
And it gives you all the exposition you need on Rambo and who they're really dealing with. And you get this sense of how proud Colonel Trautman is of the machine he created. And you're seeing arguments from both sides from, I trained him to kill. And then Brian Dennehy's Teasle's like, well, I got to uphold the law. I still got to do my duty. And then there's this the tension building of these both characters won't back down. And Trautman's trying to go in there and diffuse this whole situation, right? But I just love, you couldn't write better dialogue. Man, eat things that make a billy goat puke, win by attrition. In Vietnam, his job was to dispose of enemy personnel. To kill, period. Rambo was the best. You know what I mean? Oh, man. And the way Trautman sells it, the way he sells this character, the way how tall he stands and proud. And he only had like a day or two to even prep for this role because Kirk Douglas left the project and they needed someone, got Richard Crenna. And he just comes in and you just believe he's this colonel of the army. He's Uncle Sam, you know what I mean? And I just love this piece of dialogue and this moment. Every time I watch First Blood, if I'm on my phone, if it's just in the background, everything stopped. I got to watch. I got to watch how this whole scene play out. But my favorite moment from the Rambo franchise is Rambo busting out of jail in First Blood. There's many reasons I really like this. It's a great action sequence. There's a great build up to it. Huge build up. As soon as he walks into town, is getting pushed around, we're building tension, building, building until this dude explodes and starts fighting like an animal. That's what it's all about. I love action movies that build the tension, and when they get to the action scene, it unloads, right? It's like a scare in horror. You know what I mean? When you build up to the scare, it's a much better payoff than just giving us the jump scare. That's right. If you want to relate it, action to horror, that's kind of like what it is. And then the narrative in this, he's having flashbacks and everything like that, and they're not cluing in. Like this guy needs professional help, man. Like like Mitch sees it, and he goes, "Can't you see this guy's fucking crazy, man?" And I just love it. Absolutely love it. Another reason is it scared the hell out of me as a kid. When they have that flashback and they run that machete across Rambo's chest and when they're going to shave him with the razor, don't worry about the soap. He's tough. Shave him dry. And that's where Rambo snaps. That scared the hell out of me. Then I would close my eyes and I'd open them when he starts fighting. But Rambo's more in survival mode here. He's trying to get the guys off him. He's throwing people around. He's just trying to get out of there. He gets his knife, busts out of there. And from that moment on, when he starts fighting, he's got the knife against Brian Dennehy's throat in the forest hunt. That may be the best action sequence, if you put that all together, of all time. It's just glorious. Look what you get. You get hand-to-hand fighting. You get a nice car chase. You get a thrilling stunt work with the helicopter coming with the cliff jump, and then you get like this sequence of him hunting these officers down and everything like that. It don't get better than that, guys. It really doesn't. And it's so iconic to me. Like whenever I watch that jail escape in First Blood, I'm 4 years old again watching it in front of my big tube TV, and I remember every beat of the scene, man. Just every beat of it. It's just amazing. It's just one of my favorite scenes of movies of all time, too. Just incredible. That is it, guys. That is my top 50 Rambo moments in the Rambo franchise. Make sure you let me know in the comments below your top 50, or give me top 10, top 20, just 5, your favorite, whatever have you. We'll have a great discussion on Rambo. And thank you for making this November special with all this Stallone content. You guys have been great. We still got one more video to do, though. We're going to do a huge Stallone film tier ranking, so stay tuned for that coming soon. My name is Jason. You're watching Backtrack Cinema. There is your next video to watch. Go down the rabbit hole and all that, as I say on the channel. I'll see you next time, and I'll see you in the movies. Cheers.